Hey everyone. Okay, so we got a little bit of progress going on here. I've got my patch panel here for the frame. It's not all the way, it's just rough cut right now. I'm trying to just piece in the areas, give it a little bit of a gap so that I can get full penetration in those welded areas. This top section here is obviously going to have a plate across to fill in this gap, but I'm going to try to square this up as much as possible, and we'll go from there. So right now what I think I'm going to do, if you look underneath here, there's a bit of a gap. I think that's going to be okay though. The reason why I say that is because I'm MIG welding this, so once that's all cleaned up and that edge is cleaned up, I should be able to fill that gap with a weld. Maybe make a couple passes across that and it should be fine. This area right here, you can see where the frame has an indent. I believe that was originally for the radiator. I don't think it's necessary. So before I finish weld any of this, what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to just tack probably right here, and maybe here and a couple other places down at the bottom. Just tack it into place once everything's cleaned up. I've got to cut this. You can see it's been, it's larger than it's supposed to be. So I'm going to take a pencil or something and scribe that line across here to get that perfect. I may take it down an extra 1/4 of an inch or so, or an 1/8 of an inch, just because I need this top rail here. I believe this needs to be as flat as possible. Before I put this top plate on and before I finish weld anything, I'm going to get both plates for this side as well put in just the way this is, but like I said, tack welded. Just something real basic just to hold it in place, because I'm going to end up taking it off. And then I'm going to take this section here for the snow plow, this top piece, and I'm going to, because what it does is it sits down on top of the frame up here. Okay, so I'm going to put that into place. I'm also going to take the grill, put that into position where it should be, as well as the radiator, and make sure that there's enough clearance. If there's not enough clearance, it's not that big of a deal. I could always go back with a plasma cutter and cut these areas out where the indent is supposed to be at and recreate them. But it'd just be easier to do it now and plan for it. I don't think that they're necessary. I was looking at that when I took it apart, and I think there's going to be enough clearance with the frame completely squared off. So we'll test it out and see how it goes. But that's where we're at right now. I still do need to either drill or cut. I'm probably going to have to cut because I believe the hole's too big for any drill bits I have. Absolutely is. Light's pretty bad here, but you can see this hole. I need to replicate this hole on the other side. So that's one of the things that I need to make sure that this is perfectly in position. What I may do is take the bolt that goes through here, because this is what this hole is going to be for, is for the snowplow mount. There's a bolt that runs through there. So I might take some paint the end of the bolt, shove it in here, just so it'll dab some paint on this new plate, and I'll know where I need to cut it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be pretty close. Like I said, it's to hold this plow onto place, and these frame holes were originally not designed for that. So I do know that these holes are quite a bit bigger than the bolts for this snowplow attachment. So as long as it's close, it should be fine. Same thing on this side. I've got to do that. You can see it better here, this hole. Not the diamond one, the other one. So the plate doesn't go all the way forward. It actually just goes to here and comes up. So this section of frame is open. Before I seal any of this off, I need to make sure that, like you can't really see it. Let me take this out of here. I need to make sure that these bolts and the nut for this other side are good to go. I need to address that crack that's right there. There's a few little things that I need to address before I go in and start welding that on there, but I'm trying to get all my pieces right so that I can come back in here, clean everything up, do the last little bits of work that need to be done on here, including grinding out this ledge here. It's also on this other side. That's where the cross member attaches to, and yeah, deal with all of that stuff and then get those patch panels in, and everything should be good to go. With this side, it's a little bit more crucial because the steering box mounts up here. The steering box has a bolt that goes through here. And then it attaches to these leaf spring bracket here as well, and then it comes up and bolts into the cross member, so I need to make sure that this whole area is addressed. On this side, it has, which it was never a bolt in there, but it has this welded in nut. This side, I don't know if the nut broke off of there or what, but when we took this apart, there was just a bolt dropped into that hole. That's a little bit of an issue. I have no idea how they tighten that up, because this, like I said, this was all boxed in and there was a cross member there, so I don't know how they got anything inside of there to tighten up that nut, or to hold that bolt in here while they tighten up the nut. So I've got to make sure that that's all good to go, because I don't want to weld this panel in and then realize, oh shit, I got to cut it back off, we got a problem. So need to make sure everything fits together perfectly before the finish welds, because that's a lot of weld to have to remove, and a lot of work to have to do all over again. So that's where we're at. Subscribe, comment, like, and I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Check out alvarezmetalworks.com, and we will get this wrapped up and look for the other videos. Talk to you later.